Hello, everyone. I'm Zelda Kelly with Psychic Secrets, and you don't want to miss today's show. This is going to be a good one. I feel that it's time that you hear this. Many times we pray and we wish, we hope, we try to use manifestation, the laws of attraction, vibration, you name it. And it doesn't seem to work. So we think. So the reason that I'm here today is because I've been hearing this a lot lately, and I feel that this vibration and this frequency has brought me to this point where I would love to describe what has happened with me. And I know that you will resonate with this. So I'm here because I think that this is so important. So you've been wishing, hoping, dreaming, just meditating, and things don't seem to be working out. And then you get discouraged and frustrated. And then the more frustrated and discouraged that you get, the more frustrated and discouraged you get, right? Well, that's what happened with me. And here is my story. I was in a relationship a few years ago that I was working on a different project and was expecting some monetary payment to come in that would move me to a different location, get me started, a fresh start. And I had been using the laws of attraction for more years than I can count. My grandmother used it, my mother, and I have done very well with attracting everything that I needed, except for this one particular time. I met up with this person. I knew he wasn't right for me, and yet I stayed. He wasn't right for me, and I could tell it. And in the meantime, I'm using everything that I know that works for me in manifestation. But the situation kept getting worse. Now, make no mistake, this was not a gentle situation. This was an alcoholic, violent, angry, mean, mad, vindictive, vengeful person. You get it. You may have been around someone like that, and you may be in that position right now. And this is why I'm telling you this. As time went on, and I expected this monetary to come through, this payment, this bonus, things delayed. And it just kept delaying. And my situation just kept getting worse. And I kept thinking, what in the world is going on? And I would look at him, and he would just every weekend I could count on the flip outs and the horrible, I mean, putting the fist through the wall type of violence. And if you're in that type of position right now, make sure you get help. There's plenty of organizations out there. Don't be alone. But I want you to know that I kept it together. I didn't react. And for my situation, that worked because I was focused on the big picture. But I found out the hard way that he was waiting for me to also have my monetary blessing so it would change his life as well. Now, make no mistake, this is a man who announced to me several times that I just wasn't really his type. I wasn't his gig. He just didn't like my type of being a woman. And I mean, that's just the way it happens sometimes. And I knew that, but it didn't bother me because he really wasn't my type either. I stayed because I was waiting on the monetary blessing to get me out of there. Get it? And many of you may be doing the same. So time goes on and it's delayed. And I mean, not only for days, not only for months, like a couple of years. And I would get close and I would get close, and I could always tell that he knew when I was getting close because it would be this very sweet and very syrupy type of getting close to me, and I caught on early. Don't make a mistake. I knew exactly what he was doing. So now things are progressively getting worse and worse. And there wasn't anything that was changing for me on my behalf. I knew I had to hang in there because I knew if I set myself on the correct frequency and vibration, it would come. But this particular part, I did not bank on at all. Stay tuned. Have you had a psychic reading lately? Come on over to Psychic Secrets. I'd love for you to visit me. I'm at extension 11 on the website. We have first-time caller specials that are just fantastic. And I mean, you can talk to me for 15 minutes for about the price of a fast food combo. So come on over to psychicsecrets.com. There's 2 S's in the middle. psychicsecrets.com. And come and see me. You can see the website on the video. And thank you so much for letting me bring this to you. So as time goes on, I'm working diligently. And then there was a time that he said, it's time for us to go look at some trucks. I'm thinking, okay, well, he's wanting a new vehicle. So we go out and we look at trucks, but he's looking at 2 of them. And I'm thinking, what is he looking at 2 of them for? This just doesn't make any sense. Now, I have a son also, but he's a grown man. He wasn't with me at the time. He had 2 sons that were grown men that were not with him at the time. And then all of a sudden, when we went to look at these trucks, his 2 sons show up and they start test driving. They start treating me very, very well, which before I was invisible to them. All of a sudden, one of them looked at me and said, "Gee, we really appreciate you getting us these trucks." And of course, I couldn't hold back. And I said, "What are you talking about? I'm not getting any trucks. If I get anything, it'll be for my own son. I'm not married to your dad. I'm not obligated to this. I feel that if anybody wants a new truck, they can go out and get it themselves. I'm not going to do it." From that moment on, it was literal hell. And I knew I had to get out of there, but I didn't have the means. I did not have the wherewithal to get it. And there was one night that I prayed and I prayed. And I said, it takes the means for me to move. And I promise that when I get it in, I will not spend it on anyone, but my immediate need and my ability to leave. I promise that's exactly what I will do. My friends, within 24 hours, a chain of events happened that I have never seen happen before. And I'll spare you all the dirty details, but you can imagine with what was going on in the household that was crazy. It was Labor Day weekend. My money had not come in yet. My blessing had not come in. He looked at me. It was a Saturday. My son and his girlfriend were visiting. And he says, "Did the money come?" And I said, "Well, it's a Saturday. How am I supposed to know?" And he got right up, went down to the convenience store, bought a 12-pack, came home, and this convenience store was less than a mile down the road. He chugged 3 beers on the way home in 1 mile. So you can imagine it was hitting him hard. When he walked in, I knew. I saw the face. So I decided I wasn't going to say anything. At that moment, he started, to the point where my son had to come out of the room, to the point where it got so bad that we had to call the authorities. But it took that in order for me to see exactly what was going to happen, because here is the real story. He always told me that I had to prove myself, that I had to prove myself to be with him. Have you ever been with anyone like that? It's very hurtful because you wonder, gee, why am I not good enough the way I am? But he was with me because of money. That's it. That happens. So what I didn't realize was my intention, the real intention that was going to happen. And that real intention was I was just bent on proving myself to him, so that when that money came in, I was planning on showing him I was going to give him this and I was going to do that, when I really didn't even want to be with him. And yet the intention within me was to prove myself, to prove that I actually was going to do that, to prove that actually what I was saying was coming true. And the moment that I prayed and said, I just need the means to move, and I promise that I will use them for the intention for myself and no one else, is what kicked off these things. Now, I'm going to say this. It was painful going through this little drama segment of this weekend, of Labor Day weekend a few years ago. It was very painful. Now, I was not physically hurt. No one was physically hurt, but I'll tell you, going through toxic drama like that, and he left in handcuffs, by the way. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. So now he was out of the house, and I knew. Another 24 hours goes by, and the company that I was working for at the time, that was sending me my bonus, who realized and who knew and who heard a lot of this going on in the background during our calls, during our business calls, sent me money to move. And it wasn't just 100 or two. It was real money that I could really move on. And I wasted no time. I packed up. My son was there, thankfully. He helped me, and we drove off. And that was the last time I've seen him, and I've never looked back. And funny enough, this is how I was tested. The moment that we reached our destination, because we went from his living conditions, which were very poor, and I mean filthy poor. It was all I could do to keep up with things. We went from that into a beautiful, nice, clean, gorgeous condo. So you see, I'm here to tell you, the moral to this story is make sure that your intentions are the right ones, and that you're not just wanting to get something so you can use it or spend it on someone else that doesn't deserve it, and especially doesn't deserve you. Your manifestation and your blessing will come when not only you are ready, but when you are willing to make a change. Now, sometimes we're in a position where we cannot make a change, and I get it, because circumstances really hold us back. But if you can take a change, because I'm going to tell you, I had no one. My parents are gone, my grandparents are gone. I have no one that could have helped me move. And it was my boss in another country that sent me the money and said, Zelda, you know what? I'd been planning on doing this for a little while, and I just really didn't know how to approach you about it, because I actually called him and told him. Immediately he sent it and we moved. And I'm here to encourage you today to don't give up, number one. Number two, if you're in a really bad situation, go to someone, tell someone if you can, get help. Number three, keep manifesting and stand firm on what you want and what you need. And very, very soon, I'm going to come to you and talk to you about how I've manifested a car, how I've manifested a home, and how I've manifested some very good positions. But in the meantime, I hope this encourages you today because there's always hope. There's always a manifestation, always. But it's the universe, God and his infinite wisdom, protecting you from making a mistake. Because if you're coming out of a mistake, just like me, I was coming out of a mistake. And I think back now and I think, oh, wow, I had to experience that painful situation in order to get what I needed, in order to move on. Now, when I said, it's funny because when I moved in here to this beautiful condo, he contacted me on Facebook. Are you happy? I just want you to know I never hated you. I just want to know that you're doing okay. Why did that happen? Well, because he could see that I made a move and he knew I couldn't make a move without getting some substance, some monetary blessing. So sometimes we're just not supposed to be with that person. Sometimes we're not supposed to be in the situation that we're in, and we have to keep laser focused and blinders on to get out of it. Why? Because, well, unfortunately, we got ourselves into it. I certainly did. I stepped into it. And believe me, I wanted saved. But that hung with me. So the idea that I never had to prove myself to him or anyone else again has stuck with me. And believe me, I am continuously blessed with manifesting and blessings. And believe me, it's wonderful. So if you're in that situation today, I'm praying for you. But just know, if you want change, check your intentions. Check your intentions. Because I think it's time that you really hear this. Okay, my darlings, I want to thank you so much for listening today. I'm so glad that you're here. Come on over to Psychic Secrets and see me. Leave me a message in the comments if this has helped you. Like, follow, subscribe, do all those great things. And I'm going to bring you some more manifestation tales and ways to manifest your own personal blessing. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.